10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 situation. I would even recommend from 30 and above. This conversation is definitely for people above 30 years. If you're below 30, I'm not sure you want to be on this video. Joyness Wood Intro Oud Parfum. It has not the lightest cap I've come across. This to me feels a little bit heavy. It doesn't feel plasticky in any way, but I guess it's made up of very good plastic. So I don't find that light plasticky vibe I get from most of the latter fragrances. This held up nicely. There is this fragrance wall logo on top of the atomizer. You also have the same logo underneath the bottle with fragrance wall sticker underneath the bottle. It's not a very complicated design. It's a simplistic and minimalistic design. It's simple. The bottle feels very dense, very premium, very heavy. It doesn't give off any cheap kind of vibe at all. When you look at this bottle in comparison to the price point or how much this was sold, you'll be blown away. Very simplistic and minimalistic. In front here, you just have the Joyness Wood Intro Oud Parfum on something that seems like the gold aluminium. There's just these vintage designs you would find in the front here, some green touches. It's a very simplistic and minimalistic design. For the presentation of this fragrance, 10 over 10. Straight up excellent. I love it. The top note is built on bergamot and ginger. The middle note here, you have licorice, agarwood, that's the wood, and cedar, while the base note is hinged on vanilla, musk, and herbal notes. This opens up with ginger and bergamot. The bergamot is not so pronounced. I think it just helps to tone down that pungent ginger, peppery kind of scent. I feel like that's what the bergamot here was meant to do in the opening. But then the ginger here is, while it's peppery, it's only that way in the opening. Once you spread this perfume, if you get to sniff it right away, you're definitely going to have that peppery situation here. You definitely have that peppery opening with ginger, and the bergamot just helps to freshen up the scent a little bit. You have that blast, that punch of ginger. It's very loud. I wouldn't say lousy, but I mean it's loud. If you get to perceive it, bring your nose up close in the first opening. You're definitely going to have a very peppery situation with your nasal facilities. Whilst in the middle note, you definitely have the licorice, the agarwood, which is the oud now, and cedar. The cedar here is pronounced. The licorice is tamed. I feel like the kind of oud that was used to make this fragrance happen wasn't the conventional skanky kind of oud. The agarwood here is very mild, so you don't get to have the typical oud kind of smell or vibe to this fragrance. In contrast to the name of this fragrance, seeing Joyness Oud here, you almost think that it's a pool of oud, but it's not the case. It feels like the bergamot really marinated both the ginger and the oud here. What you really have in this middle note is the cedar and the licorice. The licorice as well is not all in your business. It's not all over your nose, but it's there. And the bergamot also finds its way into the middle note to tame the oud down. You also have the ginger crawling into this middle aspects of this fragrance. Towards the middle phase, ginger here is really controlled. It's really tamed. While in the base note of this fragrance, you definitely find vanilla, musk, and herbal notes. The vanilla here, I'm not sure it's a lot, but again, as it begins to dry down, definitely you can pick some nuances of sweet scents. Definitely, I feel like that's coming from the vanilla. The musk here, I can't tell. I usually have a tough time picking musk. The herbal note here is very pronounced. It's very loud. It comes off as a medicinal, those kind of medicinal teas, herbal teas you typically get. You have that texture here. If I have to compress this scent into basically 3 notes, I would just say the ginger in the opening, the cedar in the middle note, herbal notes in the base note. Every other thing is just in aliquots. I like to think that these 3 notes I just mentioned is the major components of this fragrance. It's a triad of ginger, cedar, and herbal notes. I feel like it's so well blended that it gives off a very joyous, as the name implies, scent profile. This smells really good. I promise you, this is quite peppery. Alright, you are definitely going to have that peppery situation in the opening. Don't get scared, don't get worked up with the opening. You definitely have that situation in the opening of this scent profile. My rating here for the scent profile is 10 over 10, like 10/10, straight up. It's an amazing, if this is your DNA, you are blessed. You have a reasonable amount of projection in this fragrance. It's not the best projection I've had in recent times, but I can tell you that this holds up still really nicely. This can project for well over 30 minutes to an hour, and I find this to be more of a summer scent. This does so well in projection. Once you spread this, somebody's definitely going to tell that, there is some Joyness Wood around the corner. I feel like the projection here is extremely good. It's extremely good, especially considering this price point. It does almost a niche standard. If I have to go by how I really feel, I would easily just rate it 10 over 10. This projects really nicely, really good. For me, this is amazing in projection. I'll give it an 8 over 10. The longevity here is where I struggle with this fragrance. Whilst this does so well in the projection, which I earlier rated 8 over 10. I mean, it does so well in the projection. Once you wear this, it projects like forever. I have a problem with the longevity of this fragrance because it doesn't do so well in longevity. You're definitely going to have about 4 to 5 hours on this fragrance. 5 hours max, which you hardly can even max out the 5 hours I just mentioned. It's mostly a 4 hours fragrance. I've never had 5 hours on this, but I feel like maybe if I had to increase or put more pressure on my sprays here, I would be able to stretch it to 5 hours. But I'm not sure it can go up to 5 hours. Or maybe if it does, it will never go beyond 5 hours. And I'm not sure this is a bad batch. It did below average for me. I had barely just 4 hours, consistently 4 hours. And I get to spray it quite generously, you know? I did this, did this, did this, did this, did this, did this. I also, spread it on my spread. I spread it quite generously. I can tell you for free. It's just about this fragrance. There's not much you can do about it, both on my skin and on fabric. I wasn't impressed with that, so 4 over 10 in longevity. The CRJ definitely didn't impress me. Same thing with the longevity. It was just literally below average. Usually I like my fragrances to go a certain length in CRJ when I get to use them, but I didn't get that situation here. It was almost very toned down. It became an intimate scent quite too soon. 3 hours into usage of this fragrance, you literally have to invade my private organs to pick whiffs of this. The CRJ, both the longevity and the CRJ, I would simply just go with 4 over 10. I wasn't impressed in the CRJ. The performance in that direction didn't impress me. I've seen better, promise you. So I wasn't impressed there. 4 over 10. Right? You would almost think that it's linear, being a green scent. Most green or herbal fragrances get to lean towards very linear end, but this was different. This didn't give it that vibe. I had some nuances of different notes from time to time, finding expression. You definitely will have moments of this fragrance developing into a lot of things. From time to time, different notes of this fragrance get to find new expression. There are times that you have that complexity of the herbal note and the ginger together with the cedar coming together to do a lot of things. There are times you pick weaves of the oud. It's a lot of different things in different times. I find it to be very interesting. It has a good character. I wouldn't even recommend this for young people. I find this to be a lot of goodness. When you wear this, if you don't have any aura, this is going to envelop you and will almost cloud your personality. This is a very big vibe for the next 4 hours at least. If the longevity and the sillage of this fragrance was up there, then this would definitely have been a 10 situation. I would even recommend from 30 and above. This conversation is definitely for people above 30 years. If you're below 30, I'm not sure you want to be on this video. In character, this is robust. This is big. I find this to lean towards the male or the men spectrum. This gives me more of a manly vibe. If a lady smells this way around me, it's not so bad. If this is your DNA, I promise you, if you are big on green scents, on herbal, scents, notes, on fresh, if you will, it's a very contemporary scent. I love how this behaves in character. Character-wise, I would definitely give this a 9 over 10. Unapologetically, 9 over 10. It's big in character. This you can get below 30,000. And for me, this scent posture alongside the character of this fragrance with the presentation for that price, I've seen worse. So trust me, that's a lot of value there. If you are above 30 years and you lean towards green notes, green scents, you are into herbal texture in scent profile, this is definitely for you. You shouldn't miss this. Highly recommend. Have a great time and have a wonderful day. See you around.